everybody. How many people have never been to an I Am a Champion Day or a boot camp yet? Wow, okay. And then how many of you have been to a Dream Academy? Okay. How many of you have not been to a Dream Academy? Okay, excellent. Okay, so why we are here is really, it's about helping people develop the skills that they need to succeed. The name of this event is the Dream Launch Boot Camp, and the name means something. You know, I've been at this for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of very talented, a lot of hardworking people not meet the success that they wanted to experience. They didn't meet with it. And it had nothing to do with how intelligent they were, how talented they were, how good of a person they were. It had nothing to do with any of those things. It was really just they lacked some training. And so this industry is both noted for and notorious for training people. Like, we spend a lot of time training. And a lot of it's motivational training, which is essential kind of training. But that's not the training that makes you successful. That's kind of like fine-tuning stuff while you're moving. You know, that's the stuff, those are the kinds of adjustments that we need to kind of keep our head in the right space and keep moving forward. But ultimately, you know, after 30 years of studying this industry and why do some people make it and some don't, it became very clear to me that the people that don't have a business plan, right? They don't have a business plan. Most businesses that make it have a plan. You know, and it changes as you go, maybe. You change it, but you have a plan. You start out on a family trip. You get your kids in the car. You say, we're going on vacation. And the kids say, where are we going? And we say, we don't know. We're just going to start driving. 10 hours later, Mom, Dad, when are we going to stop this stupid vacation thing that we're on? You know, that would be the silliest family vacation, wouldn't it? Just to start driving and never really know where you're going. Oddly enough, that's why most people fail in network marketing. They don't have a map of where they want to go and when they want to get there. So business plan, okay, so we've got our sampling systems, we've got all of these things going on, but then there are these skills. In your plan to succeed, you have to have training as a high priority. You have to know that you need to learn some things in order to make the really big money, or the kind of money with freedom that most people are looking for. And my experience was this. I noticed that the people that tended to be closest to somebody who was doing it successfully, growing, as they're growing, not once they're there, but as they're growing, the people that are around that person that's got that, I'm taking no prisoners, I'm doing this thing, and they just somehow go straight to the top, the people around them go with them. And the people on the periphery that don't get close to that don't seem to go. Those same people in other programs, I've been at it long enough to see people go from program to program, company to company. Those same people that were kind of the entourage, if you will, and that's not what they were, but in close proximity, they don't necessarily make it in the next one because they don't have that person that's kind of driving. And so I'm thinking, how do you remedy this? Well, then there's another phenomenon in our industry. Once those people get to the top, we put them on the stage like trophies every time there's a meeting, right? And those people maybe for months or years have been out of the dirt digging mode. Like, they're not at the ground floor anymore. They're not necessarily current. I don't mean they don't understand what's happening, but they haven't felt that pain in many years of trying to run a business and have a job and run a family and, you know, have some life. You know, they've been full-time for years, living in passive income, not worrying about their bills. And, you know, it's not that they're not valuable what they're saying, but they're not the people that you grab a hold of to go up because they're there. And so the idea is, one of my friends, he's been in my upline in a couple of companies, good friend of mine, Steve Bailey, I think best coined what network marketing is. Network marketing is an adult game of follow the leader. Everybody say that. Network marketing is an adult game of follow the leader. Okay, so when you play follow the leader, you're following somebody that's actually doing the thing that you're doing, right? Follow the leader isn't, back in 10 years ago when I played follow the leader, I jumped on this and I jumped on this, and they sit there and tell you about what they did when they played follow the leader. Does that help you play the game follow the leader necessarily? Not a lot, right? You know, come down and do it and then we'll follow you. So the boot camp is really about connecting new people, or people that are just getting their business off the ground, putting them in proximity to other people that are just they're gonna go there. And they're gonna do it together. Does that make sense? So you're actually following people that are going there. And then there's the herd mentality that we all share as human beings. You know, walk outside any city street that's got pedestrians, stop and look up at the top of a building and stand there for a couple of minutes, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to have other people standing around looking up trying to see what it is that you're seeing. Try pointing a couple times and you'll just have a crowd there going, what the heck is going on here? We're curious by nature, and we're interested in what other people like us are interested in. That's just our nature. And so we tell people, get into network marketing, get your lead list ready, and talk to a bunch of people. And you're going to make some money at this thing, even if you totally screw it up and do it all wrong. If you talk to enough people, they tell you, you're going to make it. Isn't that kind of what we've heard? That's not necessarily true. What you do when you're in a team environment is different than what you do when you're by yourself. How many of you have started to make those phone calls, got a couple of no's or too many unanswered phone calls, and you thought, boy, you know, I think I need to start getting dinner ready for the kids, or maybe I need to start doing this, or maybe I need to go organize my files a little bit better, or maybe I need to go read something about the body balance, the seaweed. You know, we find all of these things that allow us to avoid what it is we know we're really supposed to be doing, right? It's called an avoidance pattern. And so the idea behind the boot camp is we're going to get together, and if we say we're going to do phone calls, guess what we're going to do? Phone calls. We're going to do phone calls. And are we going to get distracted by all the things that normally in our lives distract us? No, because you've given yourself permission to get distracted to not be distracted by your distractions, right? You've taken a time out from your distractions. You've told the kids and the spouse and life, I love you, I'm doing this for you, but I need to take some time for me and my business to get it on track and get it straight. Does that sound right? You're giving yourself permission to do all those things that you've known for a long time that you're supposed to do, depending on how long you've been in network marketing or life force. The idea is simply to do what you know to do. Isn't that a miraculous concept? Do what we know to do. I know I need to get into shape, and the new products are helping me lose some of that fantastic girth, you know, that you collect when you're 50. Well, some of us do anyway. And that's coming off, but still I need to get into shape. Am I going to get into shape by just thinking about it? Really? Really, am I going to? I don't care how mental you are, you're not going to get into shape because you imagine doing it and talk about doing it and plan doing it. It doesn't work that way. And neither does network marketing. It doesn't, you can't think your way into it, you can't meditate your way into it, you can't talk your way into it with your buddies. You just got to get out there and you got to do the stuff, right? That's what you got to make phone calls, you got to learn to just do a few things well. A few things are, you have to learn to talk on the phone. I know that phone, when I first started this thing, weighed about 300 pounds, I think. Those were the old phones back in the 70s, of course. You know that they really did weigh about 300 pounds. But that thing just scared me to death. And it scared most people, right? And I thought, oh boy. And then, you know, the three-way calling thing. Learning to use your phone just enough that I can call you, and if you have questions for me, I can call somebody else to help me give the answers, and three-way patch those people together. Those are something that they're staples of network marketing. I don't care who you are, what strategy, what system you use, you better learn to do that on a telephone because you're going to need it. And then what do you say to these people, and how do you say it, and what don't you say? All these things are nuances, but basically you need to learn to use the phone to make outgoing calls, to make follow-up calls, and to do three ways, to bring somebody else on into the conversation that can do some talking for you. That's a staple. Another thing in network marketing that we need to learn to do is we need to learn to walk in what's known as the 3-foot rule, right? And that simply means you're prepared to talk to anybody within 3 feet of you. Sometimes it's called giving an elevator pitch. I love to get into elevators and break the ice if I know I got a long ride. I'll say, well, I've called this meeting here today, and I don't have to say anything else. People just start chuckling, like the poor guy that had pizza in his hands last night here in the hotel. Said, I've called this meeting together just so we can eat his pizza. So thank you very much for bringing the pizza. And the guy, kind of like, what the heck is going on here? But, everybody was chuckling, and we were having a good time. And, it could have turned into something else, right? I could have directed that conversation pretty much any way I wanted to once I did something like that. So all people who make it in network marketing, unless you get lucky and just happen to get the right 2 or 3 people first, and they just happen to call you and they beg you involved in some sort of business that I can get in and make you rich at. If that happens to some people, that's great, but that's not what happens to most people. And so consequently, you need to learn to talk to people in short quantities, not regurgitate everything you've ever learned about body balance or weight loss, right? You need to learn to have an elevator pitch and meet people. So we're going out on the streets. Learn to talk to people. That might not be the method that you're going to use most, but I promise you the skills that you develop going out and talking to people and overcoming your fear and nerves. Anybody have nerves or fear about doing this? Welcome to the family. Everybody in here raised their hand, I think. That's natural. It's not feeling, it's not the absence of fear that makes you great. It's what you do when you feel afraid, right? And so just learn to talk to people. Just getting out there and doing this thing is going to break down barriers for you. You're going to be able to stand next to somebody in an airport or sit on a bus seat on your way to work if you're taking the metro or whatever you call it here. You're going to be able to strike up a conversation with somebody. It's going to feel so natural to you because you've done it 20, 30, 40 times here this weekend, right? It's tough. Am I going to say it's easy? Can I get a witness? Is it tough?
Yeah.
It's tough when you first get started, but then it becomes fun. Has anybody not had it turn fun that went out and did this? It turns fun, right? You go, wow, why was I so afraid? So the real monster is not that person out in the street. The real monster is hiding inside of you, lying to you, telling you that you can't do this, and that you don't have the talent for this, and that you don't have the courage for this, you don't have the right words for this, or whatever million things that voice says to you. It's just not true. And you're going to find out by the end of this 2 days that voice has been lying to you for a long, long time, and you're not going to want to listen to it anymore, right? You're going to want to do the thing. So basically, use the phone. That's a skill that we need to learn. We need to learn to do the 3-foot rule, be able to talk to anybody in any circumstance, and impromptu and ad-lib a little bit and have fun with it. And then another thing you need to learn to do is you need to learn to do meetings. Thank you. You need to learn to do meetings. And so maybe you didn't know that when you showed up today, but you are here to learn how to do these meetings. You are here to become a leader. In network marketing, we build from event to event. An event could be a phone call, to a coffee meeting, to a meeting, an opportunity meeting, and then to something like this. Well, you're going to learn to do events. We have a handful of events that are tied up into this Dream Academy system. One, we've got the Dream Academy, which is a corporate event, where you show up and you get high-level training on how to do network marketing and how to manage teams. The training on that is really going to start to scale because we have these other meetings here. Then we have this boot camp thing that goes on for anywhere from 2 to 3 days. Maybe in the future we'll have them for a week, I don't know, whatever it takes. Those are the intensive, learn a little bit and then get out and earn a lot. You know, get out there and make some money and do the stuff. Then we have one-day versions of the boot camp, which are called I'm a Champion Day. So these are the things that happen between boot camp so that you can keep the momentum and the activity and the people moving, right? You know, start running. Don't go out and say, I'm going to get into shape and run all day for 2 days and then come back and don't do it again for a couple months. That's not being in shape, right? You keep doing it every week, maybe an I'm a Champion Day. And then we have the power hours where people get together. Doesn't have to be just an hour. It's impromptu meetings or casual meetings, possibly in your house, where you'd say, hey, we're going to get together for a few hours and we're going to do a mini boot camp. We're going to make calls, we're going to go out and meet people, whatever it is. But keep people in motion. And if you stay in motion and you're learning while you're practicing and doing it and watching other people do it, you're going to get these skills. You're going to develop them. I don't care if it takes you 3 months, 4 months of doing this to get the skills. Most people that, I know people that have been in this industry for 30 years and they've never made it. They never made it because they didn't get those skills. So if you take 6 months to learn what it takes to be a professional network marketer, you just set yourself up for life. You just develop the skills that will keep you and your family in passive income for the rest of your life. Is that a fair trade? So if you don't get it all this weekend, there's I'm a Champion Days, there's power hours. It's okay. You're here to just do an immersion kind of training. Put yourself, you know, my mother said my grandpa taught her to swim, drove her out in the boat, rowed her out in the boat, rowed a boat to the middle of the lake and said, honey, you're going to learn to swim today. Great. She said, how am I going to do that? He says, you're going to get out of the boat and you're going to swim to shore. And that's what he did. And maybe that sounds kind of rough, but that's how she learned. Boot camp is kind of like that. You're not going to feel completely prepared. You're going to want more training. Guess what? The training's going to come to an end and you're going to go to work. And you're going to find out that you're equipped to swim. And you're going to find out that you can do this thing. And you're going to do it with somebody, so you're never going to be alone. That we're going to come back together. And we're going to share our stories. And we're going to learn from each other. So with that, I'm going to have Krista come up. Thank you, Krista, for being mindful of the time for me. Krista!